One of my favorite stories about faith and relying on God is one I heard years ago, and you may have heard it yourself. It's a story about a man who was in an area that had a storm raging, and the forecast around him was that the area would be flooding. And so knowing that the flood was coming, the man prayed to God and said, God, I really need you to save me from the flood. And so as the rain continued to go, the water began to rise up in the street and up into his front yard, and someone in a four-wheel drive truck came by and said, hey, come on, get in the truck, I'll take you to safety. The man said, no need, God's going to save me. The water continued to rise. It came up over the first floor, and someone in a boat came by and said, hey, get in the boat, I'll take you to safety. The man said, no need, God's going to save me. Then the water continued to rise up to the second floor, and the man climbed up on the roof, and a helicopter came by and said, hey, get in the basket, we just lowered it down to you. The man said, no need, God's going to save me. Well, the man did not survive the flood, but he was a man of faith, so he went to heaven, and he got before God, and he said, God, I prayed, and I believed that you would save me. What happened? And God said, look, I sent a truck, a boat, and a helicopter. What more do you want? It's a story, it's somewhat humorous, but it always reminds me that faith is important, but we also have to remember that there is our part that we need to do. There's a story in the book of Acts that we'll be reading this week that reminds me of that story. It's something a friend pointed out to me one time. Peter's in prison, and he has faith that God will take care of him, doesn't know what's going to happen, but here's what happens. It's Acts chapter 12, verse 6 through 8. It says that the night before Herod was to bring him to trial, Peter was sleeping between two soldiers bound with two chains, and sentries stood guard at the entrance. Suddenly an angel of the Lord appeared, and a light shone in the cell. He struck Peter on the side and woke him up. Quick, get up, he said, and the chains fell off Peter's wrists. Then the angel said to him, put on your clothes and sandals. And Peter did so. Wrap your cloak around you and follow me, the angel told him. So Peter followed him, and he was set free from the prison. Right? So it was years ago, like I said, a friend pointed out to me that it's interesting that the angel comes and opens the cell doors, makes it so the guards don't know what's going on, but they don't just magically transport Peter out of the cell into the streets. He says to Peter, wakes him up and says, put on your clothes, put on your sandals, wrap your cloak around you, and follow me. So God sent the angel to do what God would do, but Peter still had to do his part, right? Faith is important. But we also have to realize that God calls on us to do our part as well. So we're partners with God in the work that we do. And we can trust that God will see us through the situations that we're in as we follow him, as we work with him in spreading the gospel. But no, there are going to be times when we have to do the work as well. But have faith. God will see us through. Blessings to you.